This is God's Pirate, your favorite dasher, and I want to get a few things out there to the Daily Dot since I hear a one-sided story here and it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I'm not for or against DoorDash, but I do know their policies, and by pattern alone for the last 3 years, I know what's up. First things first, the story. Lady orders food at 5 o'clock, wants it by 7. I don't know anything about that. We don't do times like that, very few of them. But she waited nearly an hour. She ends up going to Wingstop and she runs into the dasher. Well, what you did was you run into someone who was probably multi-apping. This is just my guess. If they stood there and they put it down that they already made it, that means they marked it that they're already here and they got on a different app, delivered for somebody else, and came back to pick it up. Something happened, and this is the reason why I don't multi-app, because that was my number one fear. Something's going to go wrong. It's going to kill my time. But there's a lot of indiscrepancies in this story. One, let me tell you something about DoorDash. We are timed. We only have so much time to get there. We have to mark, why is it taking us so long? And there's like 8 or 9 different options. And then we are timed. Not only timed, but we will get a contract violation if it takes us over 15 minutes longer than what we should have. I've been hit on 2 or 3 of these just because of the app issues. We are timed, and I'm sorry, I don't care what location you worked at. DoorDash is pretty proficient with everyone. So whoever was delivering was already in a lot of trouble. When you stand there and you keep marking that you're still waiting, the timer still goes on. Dash is all about time, and believe me, they stick with this throughout. Now, she said she ran into the dasher. He stood there and said, you can't get it here. You have to get it from my house. That's also false. I actually did that once. But my thing is after I gave it to her, since she decided to go to Starbucks and beat me there since I lived across the street, that's the only reason I got there before the customer did. I went ahead and moved the pin and said delivered here. So that is an option. I don't have to go to your house. I would prefer it because I don't have to go through a lot of stuff that I had to go through when I did mark it. And yes, she did say marked as undelivered. Good thing I was making a video and I proved her wrong. Stayed out of trouble. But I don't know, the Daily Dot, is there anybody there that even dashes? Because there's 3 or 4 things that's going on in your story that it just doesn't make sense. Now, I am personally sorry that you had to wait so long for your food. I am. But there was something about somebody said you couldn't even get a refund. Let me tell you something. I do my best to come out here and I'll do my orders and I'll do the right thing. And people still get partial refunds. See, that's my biggest thing. It's not getting paid for what I do. I'll give you a prime example. A man wants to pay me $10 to go 5 miles and drive it from a restaurant. And I get to his house and I look and I only got paid $6. That customer, for some odd reason, got a partial refund, even though I did the thing right. So saying that you can't get a partial refund back, I got issues with that because that is our biggest problem. It's not the DoorDashers not experiencing not getting their full pay because they did something wrong. It's the fact that we don't get our pay because somebody else had a deceptive heart. I never hit the button. I'm an independent contractor. I hit that button to be paid $10. I expect $10 when I get there, especially when I'm within the time zone. But there's just way too many loopholes. DoorDash would never tell me as a customer to go after the DoorDasher to get a partial refund. That's a big no-no. In fact, DoorDash won't even let me talk to a customer after I did the delivery. You see, the phone number goes through DoorDash, and once I make the delivery, that phone number disappears. For customers, I'm gonna tell you a secret. You can get a hold of DoorDash and say, I want a partial refund, and push it. You just got a bad customer support. I don't particularly care for DoorDash, but it still puts money in my pocket. It's a little bit deceptive, but on top of being deceptive, I do know that they have to follow their own policies most of the time, because then I wouldn't be an independent contractor. I'd be something totally different. So they got to at least keep it half right, but there's too many holes in the story, and a lot of them doesn't support a DoorDasher at all. Even though that one was bad, shouldn't have did what he did, and I wouldn't do it. But the options that woman was given was not necessarily options everyone was given. everybody's got a right to get a partial refund.